It's my first time in Bulgaria and really happy to be here. Yeah, so today I'm going to introduce a module storage layer for Ethereum on EIP-4844, and I'm the co-founder for EthStorage and QuarkChain. So before I go for my slides, let's watch a short video from Zhou. So he's my colleague, the founder of EthStorage. Unfortunately, he cannot be here. I'm the only one here, but he also recorded something for the ETHSofia.
Hello everyone at ETHSofia. My name is Zhou. I'm the founder of EthStorage, Web3UL, and QuarkChain. A quick intro for myself. I have been actively working in the Ethereum ecosystem since 2018. Before that, I was a software engineer at Facebook, Google, EMCDL, primarily working on their infrastructure, such as high-performance storage systems. My background has led me to particularly interested in Ethereum Layer 2 technologies and also data availabilities. Our team has received multiple grants from Ethereum Foundation and Optimism because our work in this area, including data availability sampling research, the development of EthStorage, and the fast finality for-proof algorithms. So what is EthStorage? EthStorage is the Ethereum modular layer 2 storage solutions that address Ethereum storage challenges. So unlike popular layer 2s that aims to increase the Ethereum transaction per second, our goal is to scale Ethereum storage dramatically by up to 1000x capacity, aiming to achieve about a couple of petabytes. And this is crucial for future Ethereum roadmap, especially after a couple of the Ethereum mainnet upgrade with data availability technologies. The Ethereum is able to accept and process tens of terabytes of data per year. And without a solution like EthStorage, Ethereum has to discard this data within 18 days by the protocol because of the limitation, especially in terms of storage of the Ethereum nodes. And similar to other layer 2s, EthStorage stores this data off-chain, this large amount of data off-chain, while prove that there's a large number of off-chain nodes or replicas that storing this data and periodically submit this proof to on-chain smart contract, our storage proof smart contracts for verification. And thanks to our proof of storage algorithms, we are able to enable a permissionless storage network. Anyone, as long as they can prove that they store a copy of this data and be able to submit this proof on-chain, then they're able to receive corresponding storage fee as an incentive. Additional benefits of EthStorage including minimize the trust of third-party data bridges, such as the data from Filecoin or Aave. And in addition, the data on EthStorage is programmable by smart contract. And this is achieved by offering a key to large value interfaces to the applications like smart contract applications. And lastly, it is modular, which means that it does not require any protocol upgrades to the Ethereum. And together with all other technology advancements on top of Ethereum, such as fast finality on layer 2, and Web3 URL, which turns Ethereum into an unstoppable decentralized HTTP server, we can enable a lot of new applications on top of Ethereum, such as fully on-chain interactive website. And in this way, we are able to migrate most of Web2 applications into fully on-chain, such as fully decentralized social network or gaming. I can also enable fully on-chain AI so that the AI models and the promotes and the corresponding outputs in terms of text or images, whatever, now can be fully on-chain. So we are now in the testnet phase, and we just launched a large testnet campaign in early this year. Currently, we are auditing our contract. And with all this being ready, we are able to launch our mainnet early next year. If you're interested in EthStorage, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much and have a good day.
All right, so my colleague just goes through briefly about like what's the storage and what we can do, and I will explain a little bit like details. So first, so she already introduced, and also for me, so I have been in the space for 6 years, have working with she for 6 years for the blockchain as well. Before that, 2 years in finance in New York and 6 years in Silicon Valley for product and data science. And also, so one of the initiator for the big tech group, Web3 Builder.tech. So for the team, like she mentioned, we received 2 grants from Ethereum Foundation and 3 grants from the OP because we have been deep in the DA research and also proof of storage research for the EthStorage. And also we did like 2 DK file proof research as well. So what is EthStorage? Like she mentioned before, so it's a modular layer 2. That means like we can be part of the whole Ethereum ecosystem. And also we can be layer 3 for any layer 2 as well. So we're not like a layer 1, not like the IPFS or like our Wave. So we're part of the Ethereum native ecosystem. Like we said, so we are programmable decentralized Ethereum storage layer 2. And second, so we're a trusted minimized module long-term DA. So we have been listening to like the Ethereum DA, Celestia's, and Agon DA for a while. I will explain a little bit more why we are like a long-term DA solution. The third one is we enable fully on-chain applications through Web3 protocol. She just mentioned a little bit the decentralized HTTP. I'm going to explain more as well. What's the motivation of we are doing the EthStorage? So early this year, there's a Cancun upgrade, which is one of the biggest, upgrade we all know. After that, we got a new Ethereum DA layer, which is EIP-4844. And actually, that's not the end. So there will be Cancun upgrade, there will be dank sharding. So finally, we're going to move from 4844 into the final full DA solution. As time goes by, as you can imagine, there will be tons of the data stored on-chain. And because of that, there will cost Ethereum too much burden to store all this data. So by definition, by design, the EIP-4844 is going to store the data in 18 days. That's actually the first time in the history for Ethereum to store the data by themselves. Because we all know, like, okay, blockchain is going to store the data forever. Everything is traceable, right? But no, after 4844, that changed. What about other DA solution? For Celestia, for Agon DA, actually that applies. For Celestia, they're going to store the data for about 1 to 3 months. And after that, the data is disappear. Agon DA is about like 14 days. Then people is going to ask, why we need to store the data? Why we care that? I think the first reason, which is the most important thing, is all the layer 2s, they need additional trust to drive the latest states if the data is not going to stay forever. And the second one is, if I don't tell you, so how many of you guys actually know, like, we're not going to stay the data forever? The data in 4844 is going to disappear in 18 days. Maybe, a few of you guys noticed that, right? Yeah, so that's very surprising. Actually, there has been a lot of discussion for that to call for a aligned, decentralized solution to store that. That's why people are saying like DA, data availability, actually equal to data publishing. They solve the data publishing issue, but they don't solve the data storage issue. So that's how we do. We actually work with all the DA solution, Ethereum 4844, Celestia, Agon DA, Avail, to provide a long-term DA solution. What does that mean? So you store your data to any DA, Ethereum DA or Celestia or Agon DA. After a certain time period, we're going to continue to store the data for you forever. So the features for EthStorage, like I mentioned before, the first one is we're not, there's no data breach for us. So we store the blobs by calling the contract directly. We're a native layer 2 for the Ethereum. We can be native layer 3 for other layer 2 as well. So there's minimum trust. The second one is, so all the on-chain storage proof verification is through the snark. So we fully integrated with EIP-4844. After other decorations, so we will fully integrate with other upgrade as well. And the third one, which is very important, we know store on Ethereum is very, very expensive. How about like other layer 2, like OP, Arbitrum or something? They solve the issue a little bit, but they only scale for TPS, computation power. They're not scale for on-chain storage. That means store on other layer 2 is still very expensive. So we can help reduce the store cost by 1,000 times compared with store on Ethereum directly, 100 times compared with store on other layer 2 directly. And also we can expand the storage capacity to the PB level. So this is an innovation we did, and we received grants from the Ethereum Foundation. So people ask me, if I pay 1 time, how can I guarantee my data store forever? So even we charge you 1 time, we're not going to give the storage provider one-time fee. So we give them the fee as time goes by. We need to make sure as time goes by, they store everything, they can get the rewards. But for you, as the user side, you only pay 1 time. So this is very simple about like how does the structure looks like, as you can see. So EthStorage is layer 2 network. There's a lot of storage provider. One thing I want to mention here is you don't need to buy any machines. As long as you have like 8 terabytes storage capacity, you can join as a node. Yeah, so the entry barrier is quite low. And on the Ethereum layer 1s, there's a smart contract. Every time, so when something's stored on the layer 1, so the contract in the layer 1 will inform all the provider in layer 2. See, the data is coming, you need to download that. So everyone is going to download into their storage provider. After they download successfully, they have to provide a proof of storage to prove they really did store everything. And the smart contract in L1, so they will verify it's true or not. If everything is true, they will return the rewards, which is Ethereum. So we have been working for this for 2 years. As she mentioned, for this year, we did a lot of things. We integrated with 4844, and the public testnet has been running for about like 6 months. So we integrate with Celestia and other DA solutions. So we're working with OP Stack, the CDK integration, and other layer 2 like Tyco, Manta as well. So the progress, like I mentioned, the public testnet is live. We have conducted 2 rounds of campaigns so far. They're ends, unfortunately, but there are going to be other campaigns soon. And this is announced early this year in Ether Denver. So we got like, public partnership and integration with Celestia. And this is, we receive the grants from other layer 2, Tyco and OP. Like I mentioned before, although we are all layer 2, so we're actually working very closely because they're all optimized for TPS computation, but we are optimized for on-chain storage. So we can help them to achieve more in combinations, so in that way, so there will be more the app. And one common question I got is, what's the difference between you guys with Filecoin or Aave? So there are 3 of them. The first, Aave and Filecoin, they're layer 1. They're a single blockchain. They have their own ecosystem. We are part of the Ethereum ecosystem. So we're kind of like the native Filecoin or native Aave for the whole Ethereum ecosystem. So that's the first one. The second one, they can only store static data, while us, we can store dynamic data. In that ways, that means like we can fully programmable. See here, the third one, on-chain programmable. Yes, we can do that. And the last one, because we are fully compatible to the Ethereum ecosystem, so anything you already use, for example, like a MetaMask and other tooling, you already get used to that. You can use directly. You don't need to learn another, like a stack or coding skill or whatever. Anything you're already familiar with, just use that. One thing we we just mentioned a little bit. Remember, what's the third feature? So we can achieve fully decentralization on-chain DApp through Web3 protocol. Web3 protocol is another product we built working with EthStorage very closely. It's a decentralized HTTP. Yeah, it's very easy to understand. So currently, while all the DApp, they claim their decentralization, but we know the website they're hosting is still centralized, right? There's DNS, there's Infura, and a lot of attack for DeFi actually came from the DNS attack because they're a centralized component. And if there's censorship saying like, you have to shut down your website, they have to do that. Through the Web3 protocol, decentralized HTTP, we put all the components in the fully decentralized way. So that means like there's no DNS because we use ENS or other decentralized name system. You can choose whatever you like. And also there's no Infura because it's hosted in the fully decentralized way. Because of that, so there will be a lot of new application came out, the decentralized social network, and also fully on-chain AI. Remember, so currently all the decentralized AI, how does that work? So they ran the model offline, and then they put the data or the results on-chain. Why does that so? Because there's no space for them to fully run everything on-chain. Through EthStorage, so we can run a large AI model on-chain. Make that possible. And also the on-chain interface, the promote into the AI model, into the output. So we're working that with Aura as well. Yeah, other things like the fully on-chain games also has a limitation of capacity. That's possible, enable for us as well. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I'm talking today. Happy to take any questions. And also, I will stay here for 3 more days. Yeah, just grab me. I will always be in the conference venue. Thank you, guys.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Thank you for the great talk. I was wondering about the Web3 protocol, the URL scheme that you were also proposing in addition to the EIP. Has there been any progress with browser vendors on adopting this URL scheme?
Sorry, I don't think I hear you. So you're talking about which EIP?
I'm talking about the Web3 URL scheme. I was wondering if there are any browsers that are adopting this
question.
URL scheme. Yeah.
Yeah, for Web3 protocol, so if any big browsers, for example, like the Chrome or like Firefox can support that, that would be awesome, right? But that's definitely some big progress. Like all of us need to working on that. So right now, how you access that for this big browser, you have to use extension. We do have a native crypto browser that our community member helped to develop that. So that browser is native support that. That's the only one for now. But I hope in the future there will be more browsers support that natively. Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for your fascinating work. I have a question about the structured data and the way it's stored. So in a lot of web applications, we expect some sort of structure to data, indices and other metadata that is kept along the real data. And that's what makes the web pretty quick today as such. Have you guys explored any ways to perhaps merge sort of the data block storage with the higher order structured data, index data, perhaps a relational database of sort or a NoSQL database? What is your thought on this? Thank you.
Okay, so let me try to understand that. So you're asking about like what kind of data we store or?
No, when you write data to a hard drive, for example, you break it down into blocks, right? But to a SQL database, let's say a Postgre, that's not very useful as such, right? It has to load it up, parse it, create indices on the data so that the lookups are quicker, right? It's a data access question, really.
I'm not sure whether I hear you clearly, but we can offline discussing more. So for EthStorage, so first, if you think you have like you have some issue because store on a centralized way, it's very expensive. Store on decentralized way might not be more cheaper. So that's the first one. So if you only care about like price, that's not how you choose between like centralized or decentralized. The second one is for Filecoin or Aave, other store solution, we're not cheaper than them. So if you're combine between the different like decentralized solution, we're not doing that. But what we can do more is first, so because they can only do static data, so we can do dynamic data. That's the first one. If you are choosing about like dynamic data, we will be much better for that. And the second one is, if you are within the Ethereum ecosystem, you don't need to store the data in other chain and do cross-chain transaction. So store on us, we're native for the whole Ethereum ecosystem. So that's the second choice. But if you say like you are Solana or Sui or other layer 1 blockchains, that's totally different story. Because even store for us or IPFS or Aave, they're all cross-chain solution because they're all independent. I'm not sure whether I answered your question.
It was more around, like, I'll give a very simple use case. Imagine that you are here in Sofia and you have a bunch of objects around us, let's say coffee shops, and you want to sort them by some sort of a GIS data, like distance, walking distance in a straight line, let's say. That requires structured data and some very interesting data manipulation so that you can actually have a query response within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah,
right? So that requires some sort of a higher order use of the just blobs stored on some storage somewhere, right? So I was thinking whether, I wanted to ask whether you guys have spent some thought process on this specific issue.
Yeah, I think we can discuss more offline. Yeah, so just leave time for other one. Thanks.